So what if I told you there's a single, learnable secret to success? I'm talking about a formula that was discovered by studying hundreds of the world's most successful people. That is the incredible claim of Napoleon Hill's classic, Think and Grow Rich. And today we are going to unpack its core ideas.
But first, let me ask you something. Have you ever been chasing a goal? You were so close you could taste it, but you gave up right before everything was about to change? It's a feeling we all know, and believe it or not, it is right at the heart of Hill's entire philosophy.
All right, let's dive into this with what is maybe the most famous story from the entire book. It's a powerful little parable he calls 3 Feet from Gold.
So picture this. It's the American gold rush. A man named R.U. Darby and his uncle get what they called gold fever. They head out west, stake a claim, and they are driven by this one very specific, very powerful desire to strike it rich. And you know what? Against all odds, they actually do it. After weeks of just grueling, back-breaking work, they hit a vein of gold ore. The first shipment proves they've stumbled upon one of the richest mines in all of Colorado. They're about to pay off all their debts and rake in a fortune. But then, it just stops. The vein of gold vanishes. They keep drilling, desperately trying to pick up the trail again, but nothing. They are completely crushed, totally defeated. And so, they make a decision that will haunt them forever. They quit. They sell all their machinery to a local junkman for just a few $100, and they head back home.
But this is where the story gets really interesting. The junkman, he wasn't a miner, but he was smart. He hired a mining engineer to come check out the mine, and that engineer made an absolutely stunning discovery. The Darbys had given up because they didn't understand something called fault lines. The gold, it was just 3 feet from where they had stopped drilling. 3 feet! That junkman went on to make millions of dollars from their mistake.
And that twist, that's the whole point. The story isn't really about gold mining at all. It's about the secret to achieving anything you want in life. And it all boils down to your single greatest asset, your mind.
Hill has a name for this process. He calls it thought transmutation. Now, it sounds a little complex, but the idea is actually pretty simple. It's that a powerful thought, like a burning desire for a really specific goal, when you mix it with a solid plan and just relentless persistence, can literally transform into physical reality. It goes from just an idea in your head to actual money in the bank.
He boils this whole big idea down into this incredibly powerful 3-word mantra. Thoughts are things. And he means that literally. He's saying your thoughts aren't just these fleeting little electrical signals in your brain. They are potent forms of energy that have the power to actually shape the world around you.
And this brings us right back to the Darbys. They worked incredibly hard, right? But they gave up in their minds first. Hill's whole point is that real, lasting success doesn't just come from hard labor. It comes from mastering the creative, unstoppable power of your own thinking.
Okay, so that all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually use it? Well, Hill's philosophy can actually be broken down into a pretty simple 3-step formula for turning those thoughts of yours into reality.
It really comes down to these 3 things. Step 1, you need a burning desire. This is not a wish, it's not a hope, it's an all-consuming obsession with a definite, crystal-clear goal. Step 2, an organized plan. You need to create practical, continuous steps to get you there. And step 3, just like in the gold mine story, is unwavering persistence. You have to learn to see setbacks as just temporary defeat, not as failure.
But if it was that simple, why isn't everybody successful? Well, it's because using this formula requires winning a battle. And it's a battle that takes place entirely inside your own head.
Hill is really emphatic about this. He says your biggest enemy isn't the economy, or your boss, or your bad luck. Nope. The real enemy is a set of 6 basic fears that are living inside your mind right now, with the fear of poverty being one of the most destructive of them all. So according to Hill, this internal fight creates 2 totally opposite mindsets. On one side, you've got poverty consciousness. This is fueled by fear, indecision, and doubt. It just paralyzes you. On the other side, you have riches consciousness, which is built on faith, decision-making, and persistence. This is the mindset that pulls opportunities towards you. So how do you know if fear is holding you back? Well, Hill gives us some really specific symptoms. See if any of these sound familiar to you. Indecision, that habit of always passing the buck. Doubt, constantly making up excuses for why things didn't work out. Overcaution, always focusing on what could go wrong instead of what could go right. And the big one, procrastination, the habit of putting things off, waiting for the perfect time, which, as he points out, never ever comes.
But here's the good news. Beating these fears, mastering your mind, that leads to the book's ultimate, most empowering conclusion.
You really are the master of your own destiny. Hill brings his whole philosophy together with this famous line from the poet William Ernest Henley. I am the master of my fate, I am the captain of my soul. But here's the twist. What if that wasn't just a beautiful, poetic thought? Hill argues that it is a literal, tangible, absolute statement of fact.
And how can that be? It all comes down to one simple, profound truth. You, and only you, have the power to control your thoughts. And since your thoughts create your reality, control over your mind ultimately means control over your entire life.
And that brings us right back to where we started, back to that gold mine. So the question this whole idea leaves us with is this: what amazing things, whether it's money or relationships or just happiness, are waiting for you right now? Maybe just 3 feet away if you only find the persistence to change the way you think.